One of the greatest achievements of the human being is to remain consistent in his or her servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we look at ourselves in the month of Ramadan, we usually find an increase in our desire to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our desire to worship, our desire to change, our desire to do good things in the future. We notice these things. There's an excitement. And this excitement is a very powerful catalyst. And it is there to drive us forward in the future and to empower us to do more than what we normally do. That is what we are able to achieve through the blessings of the month of Ramadan. Another thing is obviously making amends for shortcomings in the past, making up for lost time, making up for lost deeds, and mending our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and mending our connection with His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the most important thing is that once we are on the path of this, we project ourselves towards a much stronger future, towards a much better future than our past. So we come out of Ramadan better than we were before Ramadan. And then we continue that betterment. We maintain it, and we just keep going, and gradually increase it. Then when next Ramadan comes, we get another boost, and it makes us better significantly. And then we maintain that and gradually increase. And I usually give the example of a graph. Like if we were to chart out our deeds and our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our level of, let's say, devotion to deen, often what happens is, for many of us, the graph looks like this. It's pretty much a straight line. This is your year. It's going. Sha'ban. Here's Ramadan. There's a jump. It's a beautiful jump. It's a significant jump. And then this is the day after Eid. And then there we go again. Until next Ramadan. And again there's a jump. And then here is the first of Shawwal down. And it just keeps going like that. Rather than this, our graph should look kind of like this, where there's a steady incline, and then this is Ramadan. There is that jump in Ramadan, but then it goes like that from Ramadan until the next Ramadan, and then it jumps up again, and then it goes like that, and it keeps going up and up and up, so much so that the last Ramadan we spent in this world was the best one ever in terms of our deeds. And the person we are when we leave this world is better than all previous versions of ourselves. It's the best person that we have been all our life. Why? Because whatever good changes we've made, we've been able to hold on to those changes and build on them and gradually increase and increase and increase. This is a lifelong mission. And it is about people who are devoted to this, that their ending in this world will be very different, because these are the people who held on to those good changes and continued improving right till their last breath. So now they're leaving this world better than they have ever been before in their lives. So what does that look like? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the picture of that person This is what his or her ending is going to look like as they are departing from this world. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. The people who pledged their loyalty to Allah and then maintained it, they stuck to it with tenacity, with consistency, even with stubbornness of a type. I'm not letting go of this. I've started this good thing. There's no way I'm letting go of it. I've started this good deed. I'm not giving it up. I've given up such and such sin. I'm not going back. I don't care. I've left that thing once for the sake of Allah. I'm not going to take it again. It has no room in my life. So, تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Many angels will descend to receive this person's ruh as it is being extracted. And the hadith describes that these angels will come in the most beautiful and attractive shapes. And when the person sees them, they will be greeting them with smiles and welcoming gestures. The person will see them and they will be so excited, so happy. That yes, this is what I was hoping for. And we know of people who have gone from the world like this. One of our mashayikh, Shaykh Izhar al-Hasan, Awwarallahu marqadahu, he was a great shaykh, many stories about him. He was a Shaykh al-Hadith at the madrasa in Nizamuddin in Kashif al-Ulum. Many stories about this man. He was so simple that many people would be deceived about him. One of my friends who went there for their final year, he told us about an incident in his class. One of his classmates, when they arrived there, it's a very busy place. So there was a gathering. The gathering was being, adjourned. And just like when we get up, there's a lot of movement. And so one of the youngsters, he had gone from the UK, he bumped into this old man, and the old man, he apologizes, and he just looked at him. He's wearing like a simple, small little cap and short kurta and a lungi. And the guy says, watch where you're going, old man. He says, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. He says, well, be careful next time. It's like, I will be. Next day class will start. When this guy goes into class, guess who's the Shaykh al-Hadith? It's that same old man that he bumped into. And he was so embarrassed, and he felt so terrible. He couldn't enter the class. He just froze. So the Shaykh saw him standing there. Everyone else is coming into the class. He saw this man. He recognized the boy from yesterday. He said, don't worry about it. Come in. It happens all the time. Come in. Sometimes the Shaykh would wear this green shawl in class in his dars of hadith. And once he told the students that I have made wasiyah that I will be buried in this shawl. This will be part of my coffin. And there was a story behind it. And he told his students a story that once this man came here to Nizamuddin, Delhi, seeking me out. Where's Shaykh Idhar? Where's Shaykh Idhar? So they said, there he is. So he came and he presented this to me, this shawl. And he says, I came here from Amman just to give you this. He says, no, well, hold on a second. Who are you? Why have you come? Why have you brought this? How do you know about me? He said, well, yesterday I was in the marketplace there in Jordan and I saw this shawl, so I bought it for myself. And last night I saw in my dream that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has come to me and he said, that shawl that you bought today, I want you to go give it to a friend of mine in Nizamuddin, Delhi. His name is Idhar. And tell him this is a gift from me. So he said, I took the next flight out from Amman to get me to Delhi, and because I knew where it was, so I started seeking out who is Shaykh Idhar, and I finally found you. So I came to give you this, and this is a hadiyah from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were sitting in the morning mashwara, as they did every morning, And it was a small room there, and Sheikh Izhar was sitting facing the door. And he was telling about stories from the time of Maulana Ilyas Sahib rahmatullah alayhi, and different things about that time. And all of a sudden, in the middle of his speech, he looked up. And like you're welcoming, Ayye mashallah, mashallah, ayye, ayye, tashrif laiye. Like this, so happy. All of a sudden his face just lit up. Welcome, please come in, welcome, welcome. So like all of you are sitting there, if I welcome someone from the room, all of you will turn around and say, who just came in? Everyone turned around to face the door, and there was no one there. When they looked back towards the Shaykh, he had laid down, he had expired. I know the people who were there, who told me this firsthand, who witnessed this. So this is real. This is not just something that happens, long time ago in a place far away. No, this is real. So for the people of Istiqamah, these special malaika come down, and because a person leaves this world with many fears, apprehensions, and anxieties, but what's going to happen next? What is awaiting me? So the first thing these angels do is they pacify the person. Allah takhafu. You have nothing to be worried about. There is nothing frightful ahead for you. So remove fear from yourself. And you might be thinking about your previous mistakes or sins or something that I might have done something to earn the displeasure of Allah. You don't have to worry about any of that. Nothing to fear for what is about to come, and no grief about what has passed. This is your moment to be the happiest you've ever been. Because we have been sent as messengers to tell you you're going to Jannah. أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. Remember that Jannah that you were promised, that you were working for all your life? Well, glad tidings, you are going there. We are here to take you there. And they will tell them something. Like friends would say to their friends, نَحْنُ أَوْلِيَاؤُكُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. This whole time that you were doing these deeds, we were here with you. You weren't alone. In your tahajjud, in your dhikr, in your dua, in those moments when you cried in front of Allah, in those moments when you gave charity secretly, in those moments when you forgave someone who was being mean with you, we were with you the whole time. نَحْنُ أَوْلِيَاؤُكُمْ. We were your friends and your helpers and your protectors throughout your whole life. And we're not about to leave you alone now. We will stay with you even in the hereafter. نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون. And now you will have everything that you've ever desired and everything that you ask for. So even when the desire comes in your heart, it will be enough. It's like you've given a command. A thought will come to the heart of the person of Jannah that, it would be nice if I had such and such type of food. It will appear in front of him. And sometimes he will say with his tongue, but he won't need to. The moment the thought comes, the moment the desire comes in his heart, it's like he's given a command for this thing to happen right now. Why? Because in this world, you abstained from fulfilling your desires in a way that was displeasing to Allah. And in the process, you kept yourself away from many joys and pleasures that other people were indulging in. So as a reward for that, because you did it for Allah, so now this is the hospitality of Allah, nuzulan. This is the hospitality from the one who has forgiven all your sins and from the one who has opened up the doors of mercy for you. Nuzulan min ghafurir rahim. So in exchange for suppressing desires in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things happen for this person in such a way that there is no weight. There is no weight. And remember, it's about desires. There are no needs in Jannah. There are no needs. The needs are all done. Finished. Needs are something here. It's what makes us mortal, our needs. We can't escape our needs. There are no needs. It's all just desires. You don't drink water because you're thirsty. You want to drink from Satya. You want to drink from the river of Tasneem because you just feel like tasting it. You don't eat because you're hungry. There is no such thing as hunger. You want to eat such and such thing because you just feel like it. There's no sleep in Jannah because there's no tiredness. There's no sleep. There's no exhaustion. There is no limit to your energy levels. Just go. So, that awaits the people of istiqamah. And istiqamah is one of the most precious things that a person can have. And istiqamah means getting down and just doing the work over and over and over and over again, no matter how monotonous it seems. And this is actually one of the challenges. When something becomes monotonous or it's not as invigorating, it's not as exciting anymore. It's like, okay, I'm doing this as a matter of routine, and it's not stimulating us. Then we are in a position where it's easy to let go of that thing. Like, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, okay, fine. I read Quran every day, but I'm not really feeling my heart change. Yeah, I pray, but I'm not feeling it. So remember one thing, that we are, and in the words of Khaja Nizamuddin Awliya Rahmatullah Alayh, he said this is a very big trick of shaitan. At that time, the human being should remember that he is abd. He is abd, not of his own lutf. He is not a slave of his own pleasure. That as long as I am enjoying it, I'm going to do it. You don't worship for your pleasure. He is not abd of lutf. He is abd of al-latif. He is the slave of Allah, who is the most subtle and the one who gives everything that a person has. We're His slaves. So our worship is not for our pleasure. Our worship is not for our content. Yeah, it's a byproduct that you'll get contentment through worship. Your heart will feel alleviated, enlightened. Your burdens will disappear. There will be barakah in your life, there will be khair in your life. But is that your deal with Allah? Like, oh, I read somewhere that, rizq increases with good deeds. Well, I've been praying for so many years. My paycheck is the same. You know what? Maybe I should cut down on my prayers. Is that how we're going to deal with these actions? No. So istiqamah involves us getting over that period where things aren't so exciting. And there's an interesting hadith about this. The Prophet ﷺ says that إِنَّ لِكُلِّ عَمَلٍ شِرَّةً. For every good deed that a person starts, there is an initial excitement. There's a hype. It's like, yes, I'm doing it. You're doing it for the first time, and it seems really, really exciting. And you're into it. You're really enjoying it, and you're putting your heart and soul into it. And you're going out of the way to do it, and you might be making big sacrifices also to do that deed. But then he says, وَلِكُلِّ شِرَّةٍ فَتْرَةٍ. Remember that every period of excitement has a cool down period where that level of excitement doesn't remain. It dissipates. So there's a period where there's a lull in the excitement. It's not there. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَتْرَتُهُ عَلَى سُنَّتِي فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى. That period where you're not feeling the excitement, that is what you have to have your attention on. Because if you spend that, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, if you spend that period according to my sunnah, then you have hidayat. It's easy to start things in excitement and in hype, but it's the continuation that in all things in life, whether you're starting a diet, whether you're starting a workout routine, whether you're starting a new course, and it has all of these demands. In the beginning, you're really excited because you saw that seminar, now you're hyped up, and then when you get into the daily work of it, it's like, oh man, this is boring. Now I gotta make time for this. But everything relies on consistency. Nothing is achieved in life without consistency. But what shaitan does is he makes us feel so good about that period of excitement that he says, look, you've done enough. You had a great Ramadan. That was awesome. Relax now. Take it easy. Give time to other stuff. So no one is expected to worship at the level that they did in Ramadan, especially the last 10 nights. No one is expected to do that all their life. This is a boost. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us tawfiq to do more. That's His mercy. But it doesn't mean that once Ramadan is over, now we say goodbye to everything. Because then we just jump over to the other side of the spectrum where we start giving up things so fast, and then sometimes it just the pendulum swings the other way. Or now misdeeds and bad deeds are becoming options for us. So istiqamah, consistency, steadfastness, it requires grit. And the Prophet ﷺ was a pillar of istiqamah. And he would tell his companions that once you start something, just keep doing it. Don't let it go. Once he told Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu that, Ya Abdullah, la takun mithla fulan, kana yaqumu al-layl fataraka qiyam al-layl. Don't be like such and such person. He used to do qiyam al-layl, but he gave it up. What happens when the environment is there? Yeah, we're doing qiyam. It's a big excitement. I'm not saying don't do it. Use the excitement to build momentum, and then use your inner strength to continue that momentum. We shouldn't be in the business of starting deeds and then leaving them out altogether. In fact, as we are praying tahajjud on these nights, our concern should be, how can I make this work after Ramadan as well? What's it going to take? What arrangements am I going to have to make? What changes, what lifestyle changes am I going to have to make? How can I make this a part of my life? And that really is where the focus is needed, and that's where there's a different level of thinking. There's a more mature level of thinking that's required for this. How do I make this a part of my life so that I can't let it go? How am I going to hold myself accountable? Or maybe I'm going to have a partner who's going to help me, and we're going to keep each other accountable. Whatever it is. We had one of our teachers, subhanAllah, Shaykh Muslihuddin Sahib, rahmatullahi alayh, rahmatan wasi'ah. He was an ayah. He was from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in istiqamah. Anything that he started in life, he continued till the end of his life. He became a hafidh at a very, very young age. And he started leading Taraweeh. He would lead the entire Taraweeh by himself. And when he started leading Taraweeh, he continued for the next some 30 or 33 years. He led all the Taraweeh by himself every single Ramadan, non-stop, until he was too old to lead. Then what he would do, and this was his daily ma'amoon, and he shared this with us towards the end of his life. And you wouldn't guess looking at him. But once he told me, we were talking about, being tired and, just different things. We were just starting our day. He said that any day where I don't finish 11 juz of the Quran, I feel like my day is just a mess. He says it has to be 11, not 10. It has to be 11. So he finishes one khatam in less than 3 days and gets started on the next one. And he was old. He was very old, but he would read most of that from his memory. Whatever he started. When he started a tartib of going for Hajj and Umrah every year. He started it, he never left it. He continued it till the end of his life. He started teaching books of hadith. He started it, he stuck with it till the end of his life. Whatever he started, he just stayed with it. So these are important lessons for us, because we're so finicky. I often joke that we have become like an ADHD culture. We are so distracted. Our attention is so much in deficit, all of us, that it's hard for us to focus on anything. In deen or in dunya, by the way. It's affecting our dunya also. It's affecting kids, college and university and high school. They can't take a task and take it to completion. So distracted. But I'll tell you one thing. Deen is a very powerful anchor. If we start working with our deen, with sincerity, and with istiqamah, with consistency will come in the rest of your life as well. If you can be consistent for the sake of Allah in your deen, you are the most trustworthy person in the world. Because you hold yourself accountable to Allah, whether someone asks you or they don't ask you. That's why Umar radiallahu anhu, in one of his advices, says, look, if you have someone that you don't get along with, somebody's become your enemy, keep a distance from them. Don't be in their face all the time. وَاعْتَزِلْ عَدُوَّكَ. And if you have a friend, be wary of your friends. Don't be so quick to trust someone who befriends you. وَاحْذَرْ صَدِيقَكَ. Be wary of them until you've tested them, until they've proven that no, they are in fact a trustworthy person. إِلَّا الْأَمِينَ. So be wary of all your friends except for the one who is trustworthy. Al-Amin. And then he says, okay, who's trustworthy? He says, no one is trustworthy. No one is trustworthy. وَلَا أَمِينَ إِلَّا مَنْ خَشِيَ اللَّهِ. Only the one who has the fear of Allah in his heart is trustworthy. So if we develop this fear of Allah and this sense of accountability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now, and this is the time to make those pledges, this is the time to talk to Allah. We're making dua, we're talking to Allah. Oh Allah, I want to do this, I don't know how. Oh Allah, for years I've been thinking about starting this, and I haven't. Oh Allah, forgive me for this. Give me the strength to start this. Oh Allah, give me the ability to understand such and such thing. Give me strength to start such and such good deed. I've been thinking about it for years. Talk to Allah. If He accepts us, He will open up the doors. Our intention has to be sincere, and our dua has to be sincere, and then we start planning, and you will see things will just fall into place. MashaAllah, how much Quran is recited in the month of Ramadan? Many people, and don't be surprised if you're one of these people, because this is the condition of the ummah today. Many people read more Quran in Ramadan than they do for the whole year combined. In all 11 months put together, they haven't read as much Quran as they did in one Ramadan. Alright. It's a good thing in the sense that the quantity is great, but how do we transfer that to out of Ramadan? There's got to be a plan. There's got to be an intention. There's got to be some effort, some sacrifice. So the rewards of istiqamah are boundless. The hype and the excitement that comes with deeds is, remember, this is your catalyst. Milk it for all it's worth. Knowing that it's not going to stay forever, don't look for it for the rest of your life, because sometimes it might come back again on some occasions, sometimes it might not even come back. Don't sit around waiting for it to come back. When you have it, jump onto good deeds and then hold yourself to those deeds. So these are some of the messages that these verses are giving us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open up the doors of good deeds and istiqamah in those good deeds. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to continually improve ourselves and build ourselves, so that when we leave this world, we have a lengthy track record of good deeds, and we are the best version of ourselves at that time. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.